New Donkey Kong Country Returns HD trailer shows off co-op and modern mode. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD overview trailer released. So I seen the news for this and I thought it was actually pretty cool, especially considering the fact that Donkey Kong's going to be getting his own land in Universal Studios for their Nintendo World. So the fact that Nintendo decided to, advertise this character and everything like that in that regard, I feel like was actually really smart on their part. And it's really cool that we're going to be seeing a game like a classic game like this being able to come back. Now, I never played Donkey Kong Country Returns, but I was a fan of Donkey Kong Country from back in the day, playing it on the Super Nintendo and everything like that. And then I also played, I believe it's the one that was on the Game Boy Color or Game Boy, one of those ones, like one of the old school ones. So the fact that we're getting a return of this, I think is really cool. Especially, it's going to be Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong. I'm a huge fan of Diddy Kong just because of Diddy Kong Racing. That was like one of my favorite racing games growing up when I was younger. So the fact that we're going to be able to see these two characters brought back, in a modern style, I think is really fucking cool. So something we can go ahead and check out. So as per usual, I'll just go over this little bit of the article that we got here, and then once that's done, we'll check out the trailer that was released. So Nintendo has published a new Donkey Kong Country Returns HD trailer. Viewable above, it provides an overview of what players can expect when the $60 game hits Nintendo Switch on January 16th, 2025. Developed by Retro Studios, Donkey Kong Country Returns was originally released in 2010 for Wii and was a commercial success, selling over 6 million copies. The 3DS port of the game, Donkey Kong Country Returns 3D, was developed by Monster Games and released in 2013. So about a 3 year difference. Donkey Kong Country Returns is a visually enhanced version combining selected features from both the Wii and 3DS version, including the latter's extra levels. So I think that's actually pretty cool. The fact that they were able to do like a combination of the two games that they re-released, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When it comes down to them re-releasing older games like this, but charging $60, damn near the full retail price that you would get for like a modern day game, it usually kind of just rubs me a little bit of the wrong way, just because that's kind of similar to how I felt towards Luigi's Mansion 2. That's been a game I've been really wanting to play, especially because I didn't have the 3DS growing up. That was kind of like a little bit after my time. I had the Game Boy Advance SP, and then when the 3DS like had kind of came out, kind of a thing, I was considering getting it, but at the same time, I wasn't the biggest handheld console player at that time anymore. I was so used to kind of playing like the Pokemon games from back in the day, but once it kind of got to the 3DS era, that's when I kind of just stopped and kind of just stuck to my GameCube, if you know what I mean, keeping it real. So the fact that they're charging $60 for a game that's been out for like the past 15 years pretty much, it is a little bit weird and a little bit strange, but at the same time, if they are going to be able to add some new features and make the game playable and as fun as it looks like it's going to be, then you know what I mean. I'm not going to fault them too much for it. So let's go ahead and continue on. So the trailer above showcases some of the game's 80 levels, which is a whole lot, which is a good thing, which are set across 9 different worlds and offers a look at local co-op and modern mode among other features. Compared to the original mode, modern mode is a more forgiving experience, starting players out with more hearts and letting them carry additional items. Man, that's lame. Don't make it easy for them. This is Donkey Kong we're talking about. Make that shit hard. You know what I'm saying? So last month, VSG, so Video Game Chronicles, was one of the first outlets in the world to visit Donkey Kong Country's Universal Studios Japan. And man, that reading that last part, man, that has me so goddamn jealous. I ain't gonna lie, because it is one of those things I really much want to go to. I very much want to go to Universal Studios and be able to check out the Nintendo Land, because ever since it was first announced, I was hyped as hell. And being able to hear some of the stuff that they have at Universal Studios Japan, I think is so cool, because they have some features, if I'm not mistaken, where you can actually like take your Switch with you, and then you can earn certain points and kind of be able to use it to interact with the theme park world itself, which in my opinion is so cool. And that's definitely, some Nintendo kind of thing right there. So the fact that they have that coming to Orlando has me really hyped, and I'm really hoping to be able to go one of these days. So the fact that these guys got to go to the actual Japan Universal Studios, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little bit jealous in that regard. So as far as the trailer goes, we'll go ahead and check it out per usual, and then I'll go ahead and get my thoughts as we go along.
Donkey Kong's back and
So-
barreling through the jungle.
I just wanted to say really quick, it is one of those things that, like I said, I've used to play Donkey Kong Country back in the day on the Super Nintendo, and then I had the Game Boy version that was like almost not necessarily black and white, but it was almost pretty much. And going from playing those games back in the day to kind of seeing how this art style is and everything like that, I just gotta say, for me at least personally, and I'm sure I'm not, I'm sure I'm probably one of the few people in this regard. I feel like there is going to have to be a little bit of an adjustment just because of the going from that kind of almost like a photo mode, it looks like, with Donkey Kong and Diddy Kong, to seeing this cartoonish look that it's been giving, with later on features. It is from features later on. It is one of those things where I feel like it would be just a little bit of an adjustment for someone like myself that used to play the older games from back in the day.
On Nintendo Switch. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. When the Tiki Tak tribe shows up and steals the banana horde, DK and his pal Diddy Kong chase after them to get their snacks back.
And again, I just wanted to say I love the fact that Diddy Kong is, once again a playable character in this game with Donkey Kong, just because, like I said, I love Diddy Kong Racing. That's one of those games that I would love to see be able to get like a remake or a remaster. And it's one of those games as well that I've always felt kind of deserved a sequel, because compared to Mario Kart 64, I always felt like Diddy Kong Racing was the better game. I may be alone in that. I know there are some people that kind of feel the same way out there, but I just feel like there was so many more features, and just the gameplay itself was so much smoother than Mario Kart.
It all goes down on Donkey Kong Island. It's got a jungle, a beach, some totally ruined ruins.
And one of the things I also do like about this trailer that you're seeing is the fact that, with the modern style and everything like that they were able to do with it. I really do appreciate all the stuff that you kind of see in the background, all the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, you know what I mean, like the old school Donkey Kong right here and everything like that, because it is one of those situations when you're playing the game, obviously your main focus is to worry about enemies, getting to the next portion of the level and everything like that. But let's say if you're like hanging out, have some friends over or something like that, and you guys are kind of sitting there watching this game play, I feel like it is one of those things where it is cool to be able to see like what's going on in the background. Because if I'm just sitting there watching someone else play it, then more than likely I'm not going to be just focusing on what they're doing. I'm going to be seeing what's going on, and the fact that they all have like so much stuff in the background, I think that's really cool. I think that's awesome.
Totally ruined ruins, and even a factory. A variety of worlds await. DK can bounce off enemies
Like
to
the
get
background
more
there, I think it looks so cool. The water
Pound
and
the
everything, how
ground to
beautiful it
get
looks.
things moving. Roll right on through baddies.
Baddies?
And all sorts of other stuff that only a Kong can do.
Ooh, I like that when they were able to bring it like kind of backwards and bring it so you can go forward in the map. That's pretty awesome.
Plus, check this minecart that's totally off the rails. And the rocket barrel that'll have you blasting off. In some stages, you can even hitch a ride on Rambi's back. Radical.
And that's one of the things I think is really cool, is the fact that they have it so that you can ride the rhinoceros again. And I'm kind of curious because, like I said, I never played these games back in the day when they were released on the Wii and the 3DS. So I'm curious if they're gonna have it so that you can ride the other animals as well, because I believe it was the rhinoceros, the I think it was the swordfish in one of the water levels, and then the ostrich that you were able to ride. So I'm curious if it is going to be one of those things, if you're going to be able to have all of those animals in it as well, or if they're just going to stick to the rhinoceros, and that'll be like the only one you can actually ride.
Levels have 4 Kong letters to collect. Try finding them to unlock a secret level in each world.
This part kind of makes me laugh too, because when I see that, it reminds me of Mario Party, with like the little platforms, the blue and the red. So the fact that they kind of decided to put that for the levels that you'd be picking, I think that's actually pretty funny. But I think it looks cool. I think it's awesome for what we're getting, with the game itself.
Careful though, the challenge in these levels will push your skills to the limit. You can use button controls to perform certain actions, or you can gently shake your Joy-Con controller.
And this is one feature I thought was actually pretty cool too, because this reminded me of the Donkey Kong game. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but the one on the GameCube where you can play with the drums. So the fact that they have this little feature where you can kind of like pound, almost like if you're playing the drums, to me, I feel like it's a good callback to that game from back in the day. So I thought that was actually pretty cool.
Plus, you and a pal can explore the island together in co-op, even with only one pair of Joy-Con controllers.
And I'm curious, I mean, it probably might not be the case, but I'm wondering if it's just co-op, if you have like a friend with you and you guys could play together on the Switch, or if it is going to be one of those things where if you can play co-op with someone else online. So, you know, if it's one of those things that you can do, or if it's just something that kind of like Mario, where it's just you and a friend that are both at home kind of a thing. But if you can play this online with other players, I think that would actually be really cool.
Playing in modern mode is a little more forgiving. It starts you out with more hearts, and you can carry up to 9 items.
Lame.
What a flex.
A lame flex. You're gonna make this game
more
easier.
More hearts and more items means smoother swinging. Very clutch.
Not clutch at all. You gotta make it harder. What are you talking about? The fact that you use clutch was kind of weird too. Nice.
A wild adventure awaits this pair of strong Kongs. Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. Available January 16th, only on Nintendo Switch. Pre-orders are available now on Nintendo eShop.
January 16th, 2025. Well, all right. So yeah, man, I think this game actually looks pretty cool. Like I said, I never had the opportunity to play it, but I think this is going to be one I'm going to want to probably pick up just to check it out, see how it is. Because, like I said, I used to love playing Donkey Kong Country and back in the day on the Super Nintendo and then on the Game Boy. So the fact that we're getting this kind of like in the modern day with the Switch and everything, I think this is actually going to be a really good time. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If there are any old Donkey Kong Country fans out there, is this something you're going to be picking up? And yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. So if you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.